All right, so here we are on day 21. Welcome. If you're new here, I suggest going back and watching the first video in the series. I cover the basics. This is the Hexatetraglyph. My name's Colin, and seekers like you and I can travel on this oracle board for 27 days on a journey where you complete pathways, branching pathways, in order to reach one of 64 potential endpoints. Each endpoint is a hexagram from the I Ching. So on the 27th day of the journey, you open the I Ching and read from that ancient oracle and get advice. Kind of summarizes the whole experience. Along the way, though, you move one position per day, and you use astrology to come up with a topic, a theme, something to investigate. And then you use 3 tarot cards to help you dive into that topic and answer questions about it. So 3 tarot cards per day for the first 26 days of the trip, for the first 26 days of the journey, and 3 times 26 is 78. You see the entire deck. So you get a chance to work with all the astrological signs, all the tarot cards, and with the I Ching. And each of those systems kind of has its own independent say in the process. So today we're going to be on position U. We've already moved down through pathway 1, which gave us a yin bottom line of our hexagram. Line 1 is yin. Then we moved left, which gave us another yin line. Then we moved up, which gave us a yang line. So we know our trigram is mountain. And now we're on position U, so we're about halfway done with our 4th pathway. If you're unaware, up is yang when you're moving up, and right is yang. Down and left are both yin. So that is what creates the pattern of the board, and why it kind of organizes the board in a unique way. The 64 hexagrams, according to legend, were arranged by King Wen. And while he was in prison and locked in the dark and treated very poorly, he took pieces of straw and in the dark, with his own imagination, he put together the symbols of the I Ching. And he used those symbols in order to get himself free and to reestablish. He ended up with helping create a movement, I guess you could say, that overthrew the evil emperor and the evil kingdom and replaced it with the Zhou dynasty, or this new kingdom that had the mandate of heaven, you could call it. And so the reason why I bring that up is because King Wen, in the dark, in a prison cell, arranging pieces of straw to come up with the 64 hexagrams, it inspires me in a certain way. It's like, for some reason, that organizing and ordering process, it appealed to me because I've been dealing with depression, anxiety, and all these things. So this has been a very heavy process. I put together a tool in that same tradition as what King Wen was doing. I'm not trying to save a kingdom. I was just trying to help myself. I wanted something that I could just work with and analyze myself with, and come up with different topics and try to think through things that maybe I hadn't considered before. I'm trying to encourage the unconscious to be manifest, and to look at archetypal symbols and that sort of thing. So we're getting pretty deep into this. We're going to be done this week. And it's been challenging. It's been definitely good for me. Sound like gunshots. I think just one of my neighbors is working. I'm a veteran. I deal with the things that veterans often do. And that's enough said about that, right? So we're going to draw 2 planets. And we're going to see what our options are today. Each day we draw 2 planets. We categorize them based off of their energy, if they're yin or yang, and then we choose one to work with. All right, so I'm just going to reach in here. All right, so I have the Sun and Venus. The Sun and Venus. So the Sun I'm going to put on the right side. That's the Sun in Virgo. So it's going to go on this right-hand side position on you. And Venus is yin, so it will go on the left side of that pathway on position U. So that way I put them in their yin and yang positions. And now I choose one to work with. I've worked with the Sun quite a bit, and I would like to see what's going on with Venus right now. A little something different. And I appreciate that. So Venus today is... Why can't I remember where Venus is at? Okay, so Venus today is in Leo. And I see those 2 things coming together as being something about self-love. I'm trying to work on healing. I mean, if there's something here that shows up about narcissism, then so be it. You know, if I'm gonna get criticized for narcissist kind of behavior, then okay. What I feel like, though, is kind of on the other spectrum. You know, it's like maybe what are some ways to practice self-love in a healthy way, or even to figure out how to do that at all. Of course, I do think that narcissism and self-love are not... Well, let's see, how do I say this? I think people who actually are not good at loving themselves, or they don't have a good inner source of practicing self-love, can be quite narcissistic, because they have to seek for external validation all the time. And they have to try extra hard. I don't know if that's... I don't think that's really what I suspect right now. I'm trying to stay humble. I think that narcissists are usually unaware that they're narcissistic, so I don't know. If that's the message, so be it, you know. I think, though, that either way, learning how to love yourself healthy is the solution. So if you feel like you can't love yourself at all, what's the source? What's the helpful advice here on learning how to have a healthy relationship with oneself? I mean, it's like you wouldn't want to be in a relationship with someone if they didn't love you, right? Like truly, like, love you. So it's kind of difficult to be in a relationship with oneself if you don't really love yourself. But you can't ever escape that either. That's a bad situation. And let's just be real. If you're still with me here on day 1, you know kind of what I'm going through here. At least that much. So that's what I'm going to journal about today. If you'd like to take a minute to figure out a journal topic for yourself, that's fine. You can pause. And I'm going to go ahead and draw 3 cards to try to get some clarity on this situation. Oh, before I do that, though, I wanted to mention that my cards I drew yesterday, I woke up this morning with that that heavy kind of depressed feeling that I experience pretty often. And I thought about those 3 cards, just how we spoke about them yesterday. I just did sort of a morning meditation. And sure enough, it really did have a good impact on my psyche. Now, I wasn't able to 100% just fend off the feeling, but it gave me a tool to kind of hold on to. And I could really visualize the cards, which was helpful. You know, I just thought about each image. And then I tried to work through, okay, so what did I say about this one? And that was good. That was really good. So that's the kind of stuff I've been wanting to go for here, and it's kind of coming out here as we're getting closer to the end. All right, so let's go ahead and get some cards about self-love, okay? The 3 of Pentacles. Ouch. The 5 of Swords. I don't know what that's about. Oh, and another 5. I think not the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Wands is Venus in Leo. The 5 of Swords is Venus in Aquarius, I believe. I've looked at those 5s because I found them quite confusing and a little bit, especially the 5 of Swords is a little disturbing to look at. I think that I've pulled that card a couple times and tried to understand it because I wondered how I relate to it. The 3 of Pentacles, I can't remember astrologically what that is. Although I do remember seeing on the, I could probably figure out if I sit and think about it for a minute. Because on Susan Ching's, I like studying her stuff. If you haven't realized that, I really like her work with the deacons. If you want to understand the minor arcana, go get on her website or get her book about the deacons. I remember that this one, the 3 of Pentacles, it had the Devil and the Tower next to it. So that would be Mars and let's see. Mars is the Tower. The Devil is Capricorn. So there you go. See how easy that is to remember? And that's a good one to look at because there's those 2 kind of like passages behind these people, and I can like see the Devil and I can see the Tower out those windows, and I remember that image. And I can't remember why they're related though. that's the unfortunate part. I don't. But it's like a sculptor, an architect, and a monk, I believe. That might be from a different book. But it's another, like all 3 of these cards have sort of fascinated me because they're strange. This is a strange setup, you know. This is not that nice one that I had yesterday. That was just so like pleasant. This one is dark and it's hard, you know. I'm over here asking for some advice on self-love, and you know, I feel like I just got some tough love maybe. But let's see if there's anything I can make out of this. Well, first of all, let me not go too hard on this 5 of Wands. It's playful. You know, this 5 of Swords in the central position, being that I am an Aquarian and I have a real bad problem with straining relationships with my argumentative style. It's what's been bothering me a lot, is that it's the constant thread through this whole thing, obviously. And you know, I spent my career in the military, so you have this combat here. The 5s with the combat. At first I was a carpenter. And then I was in one branch of the military, and then I was in a different branch of the military. So I see myself in there. I would much rather spar than really fight. I would much rather be playing like a kid than be, this is the path. This, whatever this image is, this Five of Swords, it just reminds me of what I do. There's nothing good left after you sever off connections. Okay, so you won. Did you really win? So, if anything, I could say there's options here. I'm a builder. I'm a fighter who... I used to be more playful with my fighting, I used to know how to spar. I used to know how to have an argument in a playful way. Or I would even go to a gym and train jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and things, and we could just have fun when we would do it. Back before my knees got old and stuff like that. I mean, maybe those options are still there. This one doesn't serve me well. And really, it doesn't bring me any self-love whatsoever. In fact, it does just the opposite. So, that's the message I'm seeing here. If there's something to learn, is convert this energy into these other things, into the building, into the playfulness. This one, it's been my story. It's part of what I have gone through. The Five of Swords is part of my life story, and hopefully there's something I can learn from it. It's a journey still. I'm not done with this. It's just the tarot. The tarot is a mirror, and these cards are helping me become prepared to see one of these hexagrams and understand it and see it clearly. So I hope that that's resonating for you. It is for me. Wasn't a joyous reading today, although it did give me some options and some things to think about. These were yin cards, so they're going to go down here in the bottom left corner. If we chose a yin planet, then the cards go in the bottom left corner at the end of the day. It's looking like... See, yeah, well, we don't know. We don't know. We could have a tie still, right? Yeah. If I get too yang, well, then if we get a tiebreaker, then Jupiter will break the tie. So already I know. We're looking right here. Yep, we're looking right there. We're looking at earth over mountain. We're looking at water over mountain. Obstruction. Yeah. That one wouldn't surprise me one bit. Mountain over mountain. Wind over mountain. Well, if I was going to guess, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't be surprised at all if I ended up right there. That tells you how I'm feeling right now. Okay, that's all right. If it's that, then it's that. They say there's no bad hexagrams. Thank you if you're still hanging in here with me and watching these. I mean, I would assume some people are just doing this on their own now. This is my experiment. This is my case study. Sharing it with whoever might be interested in this setup. I hope that it brings you value. I know that it's definitely a challenge, but I hope that in meeting that challenge, it also brings you growth. Helps you on your path of individuation, helps you integrate, become more whole, find healing, find resolution, become more mature, better person for yourself and all those around you. All right, thanks again. Take care.